which in this case was the seagull. But despite growing up in a seaside town and seagulls being a daily sight, they Hello, welcome to the live stream. Let me just check that my microphone is working. Yep. Okay, so hello, we are live and we're going to be working on the horror project that we were doing the other day on the live stream. For those unfamiliar, this is a live stream. Sorry, this is a project that we're doing with Blackthorn Prod. It's going to be another Past the Project style video like they do over there. And we have a horror scene here. I've been tasked. I'm the first person kind of in the Past the Project chain, and I've been tasked with setting up a horror project. Where we'd got to last time is we could hit play. And it lags. Alright, there we go. So we've got our battery, you can see in the bottom left, that's going down. Speaking of batteries running out, my light just went off. I'll sort that in a sec. We've got a flashlight which we could turn on and off with F. When it's off, the battery doesn't drain. When it is on, the battery does drain. And then we've got this here, this pickup. Press E to pick up battery, and we can press E. No, we can't press E. We didn't get that far. So, I guess we need to do that, don't we? Let's find our... well, first of all, let me fix that light. Just need to plug it in. Hello, sorry, we are back up and running. When I was plugging in the light, I accidentally hit the power switch. So that was a thing that happened. Let me get Unity open again. So we're just opening up Unity Hub here. Pass the project. Live scene. Right, let's go back over here. There we go. Right, it is loading. Well, sorry about that. Accidents happen. Power buttons get pressed when they're not supposed to. Normally, it's the dog turning everything off under there and causing me to lose work. Sorry, it's still loading. How is everyone? Let me know in the comments how you're all doing. Oh, right. It looks like Unity is opening back up again. I should probably get the music back up that was playing as well. We have to have a bit of synthwave for a stream, for a bit of game dev and programming. Right, we should be back in business. Got our project here, so let's unminimize that, hit play. Yeah, so what we're doing, we need to fix the input. If we go to our input settings, right, let's get rid of this. Well, this readme shouldn't be here, right? So we've got external, starter assets, that's the readme. Don't need the documentation. And then we have our starter assets input here. So what I want to know is why interact didn't work. Because we don't have an interaction key. That will do it. Right, so let's make an interaction key, shall we? So we'll do interact. It's of type button, and we'll use the E key on the keyboard. And we'll save that asset. And then we can go to our script here. And we need to do what we did last time. So we can make another Unity action, and we'll call this on interact requested. And we can say on interact requested invoke. Now over in our, was it in our flashlight controller? No, it was in the first person controller. Yeah, okay. So here we need to subscribe to our interact event, which is over on our input. So got player input there. Here, so starter asset inputs. So starter assets inputs on interact requested, and we can say interact. We'll make a new method called interact. We'll create that method, and then we also want to unsubscribe from this down at the bottom in our on disable. And over in our interact method, let's just bring that down here. underneath our raycast for interactables method. So we have this last interactable thing. Variable, forgot the word there. And we check that if it's not null, and we set it based on what we're doing a raycast for. So in our interact method, all we want to do is if last interactable is not equal to null, then we can say last interactable and just call its interact method. Which is a public void method on our interface. Why are we getting an error here? What's our error? If there we go. Private void interact. Private void interact, and we've got a private, yeah, right. So that's going to call interact. So here we've got on battery collected dot invoke battery refill amount, and over in our flashlight controller we subscribe to that on battery collected event, and we recharge our battery based on that. I guess we also then need to destroy this dot game object. Though we need to know really whether it's successfully picked up, because we don't want to destroy it if it can't be picked up. I don't really want the flashlight batteries to know about the flashlight controller. Although, I mean, it's not the end of the world if they do know, but for now, I guess that could be someone else's problem. This is just a jam game. It doesn't really matter. We're still getting some errors in our code here. Oh yeah, that's just because we've got the brackets, we don't need them. Okay, so that should be working theoretically. So we've got our flashlight here, which can turn on and off with the F key. Go over here, press E to pick up the battery. We pick it up, it fills up our battery, it disappears, and yeah, that's that solved. And we can get a couple of them, and then we can, because of the way I've done this with the battery, we've left it quite open-ended, so the interact system can be used for sort of anything. And one thing that I keep seeing is these data logs. Well, no, they're not data logs, they're like data pads, like in our Polygon Cyber City. Prefabs, props, and then I think it was just called data pad. No, pad, computer mouse pad, hover pad. What is this mouse pad? It's just a mouse mat. Okay. Data. Data, that's just all access. It was definitely some sort of it looked like like a data pad, that's what I'd call it. It must be called something else. Claw machine, no. Computer chair, computer mouse pad, console. No, but that's pretty cool. I'll leave that in the scene. I might want to use that for something. Got these crates, drinks, drug chair. A fridge. Guess that means fridge. Yep. Fire hydrant, food, greebles, graffiti. Hollow platform. Handheld, here we go. Yeah, this is what I was wanting. Let's get rid of that for a sec. Let's have some more scene view. So there's handheld 1, 2, 3. That one's invisible. I don't like that one. Junk papers. Lamp, no, lantern. Oh, you could do pill bottle. Get some health. Possibly. Pill dispenser. Okay, it's going to be one of these. I think for like a datapad. Hello, Stargaming. Thank you for joining the chat. Yeah, I think if we shrink this down and make it a bit more like a collectible, we can right click, create empty parent, and we'll call this oh, what have I done? Oh, I pressed Control P. Okay. We will call this data pad pick up. And we'll make a new script for it. We can call it, I guess, just datapad pickup. Datapad pick up. We'll drop that on here. So, like our flashlight battery, it needs a component, a collider, sorry. And we could do a box collider, yeah. We'll need to shrink it down a bit, that's a bit too big. I'm going to put that down there, and the flash light batteries, they can go and be parented to the shelf as well, just so I can move the shelf down. With this datapad, I might, just to make it look a bit more like it's been discarded, we can shove it down here. And it should be glowing with like the bloom on the post-processing, but I might put a point light on it. Yeah, it doesn't really stand out too much, so I'm going to put a light, point light. And we can definitely turn down the intensity, so 0.1. We'll make it the same sort of colour as the glowy bits. So we can just pipette them. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's got a nice glow to it now. For performance, we can leave off the shadows. And range. There we go. Yeah. There we go, that draws the eye a bit more now, and you know that that's something that you can pick up. Okay, let's actually get the ability to pick it up then, shall we? So, in our datapad pickup, let's get this to use our eye interactable interface. And like in our flashlight battery pickup, we need to, we can just copy this, go into our datapad pickup, copy that, get rid of this one, and here we can say pickup battery, we can say read data entry. And we need to put this onto the interactable layer. I don't want the children to change because I don't want it to collide with that one, which if I remove the collider, it won't anyway. But that doesn't have the script on it, and I don't know, I want to make sure that when I hit the object, I'm getting the object with this datapad pickup script on it. Now, if I come down here and look, it says press E to read data entry, or press E to pick up battery. So it's changing based on what we are looking at, which is fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted. So now in our actual interact script, I suppose what we need here is another event that we can call. So we can do our Unity action here. On our datapad pickup, we need to be using Unity Engine events. This is going to pass through a string, and we can say on datapad collected, and we say on datapad collected dot invoke, and now here we want some data to read, so we can say private string data text, and we'll just set that equal to a blank string for now, and then we can pass through data text. So now we're going to need some UI that can actually display this, so go over to our canvas. So I'm thinking we just get a panel that pops up kind of in the corner, or maybe in this corner. It'll have a little red X to close it, but it'll also have the data that we've passed through from our datapad. So what's that going to look like? Data entry UI. And let's set that to top right corner, pivoted there, and then we'll want a panel. Maybe about that size. I think I've actually got some sci-fi UI, a sci-fi UI asset in the package manager. My assets. Complete sci-fi UI. While that's downloading, I just want to briefly mention that the Cinti asset store is having a big birthday sale at the minute. There's a link in the description which you can use to come visit it. This is the pack that we are using. It's just released and it's on sale during their birthday sale. But yeah, you can see there's some really cool assets in it for your use in your games, and you can see we're using quite a good amount of it already just in this small little scene that we're making. If that pickles your fancy. That's not a saying. Pickles your fancy. Tickles your fancy? I don't know. But if you know, if you're in the market for some cool packs and you want to help the channel out, you can use the link in the description below. But enough of that, let's get our UI. So thank you for purchasing Shift UI. To use the UI Manager, go to Tools, Shift UI, Show UI Manager. This may end up being a bit more complicated than I wanted. I thought it was just going to be like a pack of graphics, but seems like there's a whole host of stuff. What does it actually do? Let's I should probably figure out if this is what we want. So just got some cool buttons and panels and effects, it looks like. Okay, let's just have a look. Let's see what it's doing. Have I already imported it? Did I do that? Yeah, Shift UI here. I just wanted a cool sci-fi panel. I don't need lots of functionality, but immediately forgot how to access the thing. It said UI. No, it's not UI toolkit. Visual script. Blah, 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 blah. Prefabs, panels, friends tab. No. Prefabs. Let's just save this scene. Let's go into the demo scene. So yeah, I want this this kind of panel. So minimap, content, cut frame filled, cut frame glow big. Okay, yeah, so there is some source images. That's all I want. That kind of frame. Okay. So let's go back to our scene, which is external scenes. There's on the playground scene. Open recent scene. Oh yeah, I was working in the demo interior. Okay, whew. I got confused then. I should probably add that file, build settings, add open scenes, get rid of that one. Okay, file. Let's go back to our canvas. So we've got our panel here. So this, it was called cut frame. Sliced. Is that sliced though? Because it doesn't seem to be. This is one thing that annoys me about Unity is there's like, I get it keeps it light and stuff, but then when you want to do something like as simple as cutting a sprite, like even if you're in a 3D game, you're gonna have 2D sprites. Why is that not just a default package that's installed? Right, so that should be cut. So why is that not working on our panel? Oh, I suppose it is. Maybe it's just the resolution that we've got selected. Ah, there's other ones. We've got these PPUs. Okay, right, yeah. 6 pixel, 300p. 5 pixel. There we go. Alright, so that's the glow. We're going to need another panel. Let's add that there, because this is the overlay. So this is cut frame filled glow big. Cut frame glow big. Oh, that's already got the glow. Already got the glow in it. Cut frame filled. Well, just to keep it simple, let's just do cut frame filled glow big. Yeah, and then inside that we will have another one, which will make a darker blue. Make it a bit smaller. And then we need a text window. Data text panel. I'm going to get rid of that interior panel and I'm just going to make this darker. I think that'd be cooler. Like that. And then we're going to add, we probably need a scroll box, but let's just put our text in it for now. Drag that the size, but drag it down. Unless people are writing like novels, maybe we won't need a text box, but it's got preset stuff. An icon button. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Let's add in our font, which is Orbitron, I believe. Now we can say this is a test entry, test data entry. You can write a really cool story here, or you know, get ChatGPT to do all the work for you. Who am I to judge? We'll do Shift UI buttons. What's a spotlight button? Ooh. That's fancy. An icon button. We'll parent that to the top right. We need to change the graphic though, the icon. Not a refresh, we want like a close, cross, hair, no, close, quit, exit. I mean, it's not what I wanted. There's gotta be a cross, right? Check mark. I mean, there's an ad. Cancel. Cancel. Is there a circle filled? That doesn't seem to have liked whatever I just did. It's now disappeared and I've got an error. If you want to do something, just do it yourself. Target graphic button. I mean, that's good enough, right? So maybe that should be build. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So that's what it's going to look like in game when it pops up. This is a test data entry. You can write a really cool story here, or get ChatGPT to do all the work for you. Who am I to judge? So here on our UI manager, we need a reference to that. So public game object datapad UI. We'll have public void show datapad UI, which will take it in a string, and just called new text. And we can have public void hide datapad UI. So datapad UI dot set active to false. This one we're gonna set it to true. But we also need a TMP text, which will say datapad text. And we're gonna set datapad text dot text equal to new text, and then set the panel to true. In start, we want to hide datapad UI. In on enable, we can say datapad pickup dot on datapad collected show datapad UI. On disable, we can unsubscribe from that. That can be private. This needs to be public. So our button here, when it's clicked, we want to get our canvas, go to the UI manager and call hide interact text. Our datapad, which is on the shelf. So our data text, we could say here, there's a text area, and then what does this take? Min lines and max lines. We want one minimum line, 6 max lines. How big's that going to be? Oh, we we can actually go a bit bigger than that. Let's say like 20. That didn't seem any bigger. On our canvas, let's make sure we actually set data text and data entry UI panel. Let's go to our friend ChatGPT. Write me a 100-word data pad. I need you to write me a data pad entry for a collectible in a horror video game. The game is set on a space station and the main antagonist is a scary robot with a glowing red face that has hunted down the rest of the crew. This data pad belonged to the captain of the ship and was the last entry before he was killed by the robot. It needs to be around 100 words, and can you cut off the last sentence as if the author of the data pad entry was cut short and couldn't finish the entry? I mean, it's not the best form of literature ever, but I'm not here to write a story. I'm here to make a video game. If someone else wants to update that, then they can do so. Although I do take, is umbrage the right word? Oh, and I'm typing in that in the wrong place anyway. I need to put it on the data pad thing. That infernal robot, I don't like that. The ship maintenance bot, its malevolent glow haunts the corridors. We try to outwit it, but it's relentless, unstoppable. Crew members vanish one by one. Now it's just me, the captain, left. I mean, it's a bit on the nose. I've barricaded myself in the control room, but it's only a matter of time before it finds me. If anyone reads this, beware. Stay away from this station. The AI has turned against us, a vengeful demon with a glowing crimson gaze. I can hear its approaching steps. Mayday. So, we've got the batteries we can pick up. We've got a data pad, which hopefully we should now be able to pick up, and it will pop up this little thing in the top corner. Yep, there's our pop-up. The mouse cursor is the mouse cursor needs to be unlocked when that comes up, so we can actually click on stuff. Cursor.lockState equals cursor.confined. Cursor.visible equals true. And then we want cursor lock state, cursor locked. Also want to, if we got prefabs, let me make a prefab folder. Why is that not doing anything? Button. Hide interact text. That's not what I want. I want hide datapad UI. Yeah. The torch is going. Boop. Oh, phew. Kind of makes me want to add like oxygen meters and survival kind of meters. Which are very simple to do. So maybe I should do that. Data pads. I want to just duplicate this. I'm just going to move it over here. I just want to have multiple in the scene just to make sure it works and it's updating. Excellent. Can you do me another entry, this time from the point of view of an engineer in the bowels of the ship? Could you change it up slightly and don't use the word infernal when describing the robot? We've got this datapad over here, which says unbelievable horror, salvation, blah blah blah. this one. Okay. I feel like this needs to... This panel would be good to fit the content size. Do we have a content size fitter? Vertical fit. Vertical, yeah. Preferred size. Min size? Preferred size. I don't know how that works. What's happened here? Yeah, I don't know how the content size fitter works, and I can't be bothered trying to figure it out for this project. That could be someone else's issue. So I'll just make it bigger. Just make it bigger. Let's remove that component. To the text on screen, it gets a bit hard to see when you've got the flashlight on. So for that, with the interaction text, I'm going to see if I can add make it bold and add a stroke outline. Can I not do it independently? Like, I don't feel like I need to give it a stroke on this bit. I mean, a drop shadow never hurt anyone, did it? I guess I'd have to just make a duplicate of that text, but press E to read data entry, so that's easier to read. Unbelievable horror on board, and then I guess let's just make this less transparent. Yeah, I want to add oxygen meters. I suppose we could add health as well. I think oxygen would be quite cool. Someone else can always turn it off if they don't want it. So let's add on our player. We've got a first person controller, rigid body push, starter assets. Let's add an oxygen controller script. crank this up. We need both of those methods. Some point delete. It's like when in Blender you delete the default cube and then immediately bring it back. I always delete the start and update and then use them. And I know I need to use them here. So we'll do serialized field, private float, max oxygen, and this can be seconds of oxygen the player has, and then we want private float current oxygen. At the start of the game we'll set current oxygen equal to max oxygen, and then we can do current oxygen minus equals time dot delta time if current oxygen is less than or equal to 0. Current oxygen equals 0. Debug.log. You are suffocating, you doofus. And then we can have a public. Can we do public static float oxygen as T value, and this could return current, but they're not oxygen divided. I don't think, yeah, because they're not yeah, so we'll just have public float oxygen as T value, and we'll return current oxygen divided by max oxygen. On our UI manager, we will want a public image O2 meter, and then in fixed update we can do O2 meter dot fill amount is equal to oxygen controller player oxygen player oxygen dot oxygen is T value. For this, we can just make a very quick icon for O2 using our nice font. We'll do 128 by 128. We can always compress it down if we need to. O2 Orbitron black Orbitron black. I think technically the 2 is a little too, right? When you're doing like oxygen, let me just double check that. O2 symbol. I mean, it looks like an O2 or dioxygen in the common allotrope at the chemical element oxygen. O2 is... yeah, O and then a little 2 is commonly known as oxygen, but also means dioxygen because there's 2 oxygen. The more you know. And we actually want that quite close to as big as we can get it. That's the size it's going to be on screen. I think we need to make that bigger. Image size 256. Unity projects, horror, past the project, assets, textures, UI, oxygen meter. So we can add that to our flash, well, near our flashlight indicators. We want an image. Go to our textures, oxygen meter, sprite, apply. I'm going to parent it to... Actually, no, I don't want to parent it to the flashlight indicator because that's not... That'd get confusing. We can make an empty parent, which we can parent down at the bottom. We can call this player stat UI. Or flashlight indicator. Oxygen meter can be part of that, which is anchored towards the bottom. What does that look like on the game? It's actually quite big. Vertical image. I want to add a stroke to it, but then I don't want it to be filled. So we rasterize the layer style, and then we're gonna have to mask it out. And I want the stroke to be an inner stroke, actually. And for the purposes of this, I'll have to make it black initially. And now I can make it white. So oxygen meter underscore outline. That's not. So now when this goes down, there we go. This can be tinted kind of however we want now. I'll leave it white for now. Why not? So let's actually implement that as a thing. So we've got our O2 meter. Oh, well, that should be it, right? If we get our player capsule, oxygen controller, let's give them, well, just for testing purposes, 30 seconds of oxygen. Null reference not set to an instance of an object. I should get that tattooed onto me. So you can see that the player's O2 is currently draining, as is their flashlight. Their flashlight is going to start blinking as it runs out. We can pick up a battery to replenish it, and the oxygen is going out. Once the oxygen runs out, we will see you are suffocating, you do first. So I guess as another interactable, we could make a oxygen pickup. Let's see, do we have any kind of like canisters in the city pack? Barrel? Oxygen? Let's see what we've got. Model, no. Prefabs, props, antenna, billboard, canopy, claw machine, charge station, crate. Some of those were cylindrical. Some of them may work. maybe not. There's a chest. That could be an oxygen container. Propane tank. Slime puddle. Okay, I think this one is probably a good oxygen container. That looks like health, though. Like a blue one. That could be oxygen, right? No, I don't like that. I don't think that looked good as a pickup. I want the player to be able to get oxygen back though, somehow. I mean, that could be an oxygen canister, right? Yes, making a horror game. Currently trying to find an oxygen, something that could work as like an oxygen container. That's pretty cool. I like that sign. Nothing really looking like an oxygen container. Maybe that? Oh, that could work. Pill bottle. We just need to scale it up. There was also some sort of like fire... Was it a fire propane tank? But we have different things. Ah, it's got a flame on it. Never mind. This'll work. Oxygen refill. Oxygen pickup. And it's kind of like this battery refill one. Guess we could take all of this. And this is oxygen refill amount on oxygen refill collected. Refill oxygen. Then our oxygen controller on enable. On disable, oxygen pickup dot on oxygen refill collected plus equals refill oxygen, which we can make private void amount to refill current oxygen plus equals amount to refill if current oxygen is greater than max oxygen, current oxygen equals max oxygen. I'm just getting a lot of systems in place here for whoever's next in line to deal with and kind of build something. Or completely undo everything I've done and take it in a different direction, because that is the nature of the beast with these pasta projects sometimes, but hopefully that won't happen. On oxygen depleted. Public pool has oxygen, and then we can return whether current oxygen is greater than 0. Might be handy. On oxygen depleted. On oxygen depleted dot invoke. I only want this to happen once as well. The public pool has suffocated. Equal to false. If current ox, first I would say if has suffocated, then just return, because no point calling that. If we else, if we still haven't suffocated and current oxygen is less than or equal to 0, has suffocated is equal to true. That is probably isn't necessary actually. So here we can say if current oxygen is less than or is not, well, we can say if current oxygen is if current oxygen is greater than 0, return. And then if it goes to 0 or below, we'll set has suffocated to true. Set current oxygen to 0 just to sort out the UI issue, because this T value needs that to at least be 0 as the minimum. And then we can call on oxygen depleted. Here we can say oxygen controller on oxygen depleted plus equals on player suffocated. So we'll probably want to show game over UI. Which I don't think I'm going to make tonight. We've got press E to refill oxygen. Press E to read data entry, which we can get here. Oxygen refill works. We've got our batteries up here, which refills our flashlight. We can turn our flashlight off to preserve battery. Turn it on to see what we're doing. So maybe last thing I do before we finish the stream is let's try and make it a bit darker. Directional light. Can we make it like pitch black? Yep, there's the dog barking. Right, I think that is a good time to end it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this weird horror game, sci-fi horror thing. I might try and get another live stream in before I have to pass it over to Blackthorn Prod, but I might not. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.